Need high-quality video to promote your event, business, or band? We can help.
We're Pixel Pond, a video production team based in the Pacific Northwest, providing high-quality content to clients across the U.S. and Canada.
Whether you want coverage of your live event to promote for next year, or need a camera and a camera operator for your next big project, we can accommodate projects of all sizes.
Your story is important. Visit pixelpondllc.com or send an email to info@pixelpondllc.com to get started today. We can't wait to work with you.
Parental warning. This podcast contains references to size queens, length, girth, spanking the monkey, and charming the one-eyed snake with the meat mitten. Please podcast responsibly.
Coming up on Gamers Week podcast. One of the most bizarre but charming cultural crossovers has officially come to an end. The Louvre has finally laid its Nintendo 3DS audio guides to rest. So it's funny, too, that this article came up. So like over the weekend, I ended up picking up a bunch of Laserdiscs, and one of them is an entire walkthrough of the Louvre with a book that comes with it. And there are like 8 Laserdiscs to this thing.
So first date idea, Ryan.
Okay.
Bring the date back to your house. Candlelight, light jazz playing and whatnot. It's like, hey, I got a surprise for you. And she sees the Laserdisc player, and it's this is the Louvre, an interactive walkthrough of the Louvre and the paintings. And you're like, all right, join me on the couch. Do you think she would run out of there screaming, or do you think she would be interested enough to stay and watch it?
She might be interested in Louvre and chill.
Louvre and chill.
The Mad Milkman says, so you guys are just going to skip new releases this week because why bother? Nothing good.
Not a damn thing that's good.
I thought I would just work a bunch of overtime this week instead. Oh, wait, I'll probably do that anyway.
We're shocked. Shocked, we tell you, that this episode is even going to make it out on Friday.
Actually, you want to know what? I can't even play the game until Saturday.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Because editing on Thursday, and then right after work at Friday, I have to go to a family function.
Oh, well, tell them that you've got more important things to do.
I would love to, but that's what I told them last week.
Oh.
Okay, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to Photoshop a COVID test in your hand. A positive one. Send it to them and be like,
I got the black lung, Pop.
Actually, except for I think I already had it, and I told them I already had it.
You can't get double COVIDed, man.
I got the double COVID.
Did you see what Coffee Puff? Go away, Dayton. Really playing Silksong.
And Satisfaction says, it's just family blues. Silksong is Silksong.
Silksong
and you know
life.
what? You're not wrong, Satisfaction.
You're lucky that your family aren't gamers too, because like if all of a sudden it popped up and be like, Blue is now online.
No, are you kidding? I have my profile on every console set to private.
So nobody can see me gaming.
Yep.
All right, so why don't we go ahead and kick this off? Welcome to Gamers Week podcast. Like the name says, we analyze the best, the worst, and the weirdest headlines of the past week in the video game industry. That was episode 181, and today is Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. My name is Ryan, aka Retro Game Brews, and I'll be your host for this evening, but I have two absolutely amazing folks with me here today. First up, we have recently heard word from the Council of Patriarchs has recently nominated this co-host for a honor that is beyond honors. She is choosing not to play Silksong in order to edit this week's podcast and has been therefore dubbed the Daddy of Daddies. Congratulations, Blue.
Oh, wow.
How you doing today?
Daddy of Daddies. I like that. That is going in the Patron or the Discord. That's going in the Discord. That's my new Discord name.
Daddy squared.
Daddy squared. The Daddy of Daddies.
D2.
I love
Daddy
it.
Squared.
And next up, a gentleman who has the recent distinction of having someone name an adult film actress and having to ask the question, who's that? Which means that he is not as addicted to that stuff as myself and Blue. Donnie, how you doing today?
I just want to be pure.
I did not expect that response from you. He's like, "Who's that?" I was like,
There
Okay.
are a few names that I am familiar with. Most of my actors and actresses are that I know of by name, 70s, 80s, whatnot. The new people don't know them as much.
Donnie's still watching Debbie Does Dallas on his VHS player.
Betamax.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I thought it would be like the reels, you know, like
8mm tape.
Yeah.
Change the reel. Oh, waddle over there.
All right. Well, want to start your own podcast, maybe about guided disassociation sessions for fun and profit? You'll need a place to host your show. Buzzsprout has a user-friendly interface, great analytics, and resources to help you grow your audience. Use the link in the description to get a $20 credit when you sign up for a paid plan. Let's take a look at our reviews, reactions, and requests. First up from Mogok. All right, so I played Bible Adventures a lot while growing up. It was, and remains, fairly awful. I did get quite adept at slinging rocks at Goliath, though. It was usually only played during the deepest periods of summer boredom. I have games like that. It's just not Bible Adventures.
but I mean, the Bible Adventures by any other name is just your average NES shovelware.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And the fact that it came in either a black cartridge or a baby blue cartridge.
Baby blue for the win.
Mm-hmm. Great Save Man 81 says, picked up Bible Adventures from Funcoland in the 90s just because it sounded ridiculous. And it truly was.
That may be the first story I've heard of somebody voluntarily getting the game. With other options. They said, no, I'll go with Bible Adventures. I bet it's so bad it's good.
And the thing, I'd say it's different nowadays if you pick up Bible Adventures because it's kind of a meme game, right? And it's part of the collection. I want a bigger collection, so blah, 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 blah. You're right. But you're right. In the 90s, Great Save Man was like, you know what? We'll give this one a shot.
Out of his time. The whole hate watching, he was hate playing before it was a thing. Simon Asher correctly says, the black cartridge was King of Kings, which was another Wisdom Tree 3-in-1 card. I had forgotten that. Thank you, Simon.
Mm-hmm.
What's the risk nowadays of an aunt or a grandma getting Bible Adventures for their grandson or nephew or niece or whatever it is? It's like something they wander into a used game store. Oh, look, Bible Adventures. I think I'll pick this one up for little Timmy.
Little Timmy's going to be like, how do I play this thing?
So you're saying it's zero chance.
Right.
Probably, yeah. Because, I mean, let's face it, grandmas these days, not that much older than us. So they probably know better by now.
No, why'd you say that?
I know.
All right, next up, Ludo Timbo says, I remember when I was a kid, there were a few occasions that my family's church pastor babysat me. She had a Nintendo, but the only games she had were lame-ass Bible games. I tried them out because there was nothing better to do, and Noah's Ark was my mother jam. Okay, so out of all the Wisdom Tree games, that is actually not that bad.
But that's not what he's talking about.
Oh, he's talking about in Bible. Okay,
yeah, the Noah's Ark in Bible Adventures.
Gotcha.
He liked, you gather the fruit, you gather the animals, throw them in the ark, and watch the world be destroyed. It's great fun for kids.
All right, so why don't we go ahead and shout out our patrons?
We couldn't do what we do without the help of our gorgeous patrons. Here are the generous folks supporting Gamers Week on Patreon. Mega Retro Man, Gametroid, Mora Deep, Michael, you're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'm going to kill you last. LaKite, Emo-esque Bill Tucker, you know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. Fruitcakes, I hate it when my Schwartz gets twisted, pickled pepper. Ducks with thick thighs. Absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress. Bobson Dugnut, Blues Little Sis, Loud Moth, Retroblast Pat, BNT Zilla Guy, The Mad Milkman, Seven Castle Forest, Crunchy Kong, Snacks the Handsome Chef, Frank Grande, Love Retro BTW, Steven Sand, Ramboski, Terry Kinnair, Don't Make Me Pull This Car Over, Games with Coffee, Hybrid Divide, You Fall Before Me, Davey PGH, The Pixel Pond Family, including Shannon and Luke, Zach, aka Old Cluster Nuts, Puzzle Butter, Number One Blue Sick Voice Fan, John Barron, Sassy Sony, Evo Lust, and have a structured settlement or annuity and need cash now. Call your boy JG Wentworth at 877 Cash Now. If you like what you hear today, and we really hope you do, please consider joining us on Patreon. Your support helps cover the cost of producing the show, as well as other cool stuff we'll be doing like prizes and giveaways. You'll also gain access to our bi-weekly Patreon-only bonus cast called Gamers Week Uncut, Patrons with Benefits. Visit patreon.com/gamersweek or follow the link in the show notes to learn more. And I'm so happy we're now into the movie Commando as far as movie quotes go with Michael LaKite.
We've been on quite a journey.
We have. It's spanned a lot of movies, and now we're into Commando, which is one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Can I have a little bit of a petition here?
Sure.
Can we make it sure that the Call Your Boy JG Wentworth, the one in which we sing, is not directly followed by If You Like What You Hear Today?
Next week it won't be.
Right. Like, no, I don't like it. That's it.
All right, so let's go ahead and check out our headlines.
All right, this headline segment is proudly sponsored by Absolutely the Best Podcast, a work in progress. Each episode, George and Zach discuss and rank all the best things, starting with deep dives into every movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This week, they've got a trivia question for us. Hollow Knight fans are finally getting a sequel after a 7-year wait, but that's practically brief compared to the gap between Windjammers 1 and 2, which was how many years? Visit them at absolutelythebest.net or follow the link in the show notes. And if you are stumped, I am allowed to give you the consoles they came out on.
Yes, please.
I actually do know the first one, Windjammers 1.
Okay.
Came out on the Neo Geo console, arcade console, right?
That is
the
correct.
NDS?
Oh.
And the sequel, Windjammers 2, came out on Switch, PS4, Xbox One, Stadia, and Windows.
All right.
What?
So, like, early to mid 90s, all the way up to like 2015. So
Holy
that's
crap.
our gap.
That's a hell of a gap.
Okay. Is this like the Price is Right? Closest to the number without going over?
Sure.
I'm going to say 25 years.
I don't even know where to begin with this one. So I've never heard of Windjammers. What type? Is it like a sailing game?
No, it's like a volleyball game.
You're relevant to the question.
Well, can I still know what type of game it is? Man. Okay, you said volleyball?
Yeah.
I feel like that was like very high back up in the early 90s.
Pretty sure he's bullshitting you.
Oh, damn it, Ryan. He said it. Yeah, okay, so early 90s. I don't know. Ryan said 25. I'll just say 20.
For the record, my guess was 26. So the answer is
redacted.
Wow.
So you're saying,
holy
if
crap,
they came out with a Big Trouble in Little China sequel.
China.
that
right
would
now,
win.
That would win.
That would win. Although one of the new releases this week may win.
Really?
We'll revisit that later.
Okay.
Silksong?
It's been 84 years.
Just feels like it.
Yeah.
All right, so with this week's headline, first up, IO Interactive, developers of the much-beloved Hitman series, showed off its latest title, 007 First Light, during a special September State of Play. In it, instead of a bald Agent 47, you play as a youthful, immaculately coiffed James Bond, and that's pretty much like the biggest distinction between the two games. As in Hitman, First Light's gameplay demo featured a fancy party at a luxurious estate, lots of slow walking to blend in with the crowd, listening to ambient conversations for clues, and of course, lots of fancy cars to drive and inevitably wreck. Basically, what IO showed off First Light makes the game look like Hitman with a fancy 007 skin, which honestly probably suits a lot of players just fine. With the success of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, licensed games are making a big comeback. And while IO continues to update Hitman World of Assassination with new missions and fancy new targets, it's been 4 years since the last full Hitman release. 007's First Light seems like it would be a new way to scratch the spy thriller assassination itch, and you won't have to wait too long for it either. 007 First Light launches on March 27th on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch 2, and PC.
So did you guys get a chance to watch the showcase today?
Yes, I did my homework.
Yes.
I'm so proud of both of you.
Thank you.
What did you think?
Well, this actually rained on my parade because I was pretty hyped about this. And I was like, all right, you could have played it anyway with Hitman. But it seemed fun. I will admit, I am not much of a stealth guy, and I suck at those missions. But it sounds like you don't always have to be stealth if you don't want to. You can rush in there. Of course, there's consequences for all of your actions. So I think that's kind of cool. But it's got several different gameplay modes, right? It's the stealth piece. It's kind of not unlocking puzzles, but, utilizing your choices to make the right, decision trees, if you will. And then the driving stages, it all looked really good. Whoever is the first person shooter that was driving this demo sucks.
Right.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a freaking barn. But other than that, it seemed like it was pretty cool. I love the dynamic that you can throw a weapon at somebody, stun them, and then steal their weapon and murder them with it. I thought that was pretty
awesome.
Cool.
That seems to fit right into the James Bond wheelhouse of using all of your surroundings and resources that you have. When I saw the gameplay and everything, it made me feel like I was back in the Nathan Drake universe.
Yeah,
so I get that type of feel, even though it's not the same. It's got the same aspect of it. And I don't really do well with like the Hitman games. They're okay. I didn't really get too deep into them. But this game, I mean, come on. It's infiltration. It's using technology and all this other stuff. I will say, however, that car chase just seemed a little bit unrealistic.
Oh my God. I was like, how the hell would I ever figure out where to drive?
Are you sure?
Well, no, it's unrealistic for one reason and one reason only. The fact that car jumped. First of all, it couldn't keep up with the other car. Next thing you know, it 3 times it dropped. It jumped, bam. And that suspension would have been destroyed, gone, game over. Sorry.
Yep. They left the muffler 6 miles back. There's no coming back from that.
I did like the Dukes of Hazzard jump, though.
Right. But then the lady that is also in the car, she's just like, okay, bye, James, drops him off and gets in the car. And it sounds just perfect when it drives away. So, video game magic.
Yeah, like suspending your belief or disbelief, suspending your belief just to accommodate the story. Okay, I can get behind that. God knows I've done that plenty of times in these other games. So I'm willing to give it a shot. I did like what I saw. The gameplay, being able to blow up the tankers and all this other stuff, and the vehicles actually explode. I would have liked to have seen some burning bodies screaming for help inside. I don't know, maybe a little bit.
It's going to be a T for teen game.
Yeah. James Bond did not seem to be affected by the big explosions. Things were
I noticed that
blowing past him and all that stuff, yet he was still perfectly still. His jacket was still zipped up. His hair was still perfectly coiffed. He was fine.
I'm just thinking, you get a look of his face. You didn't realize it because you're always from the back, and then his eyebrows are cinched off, and he has no eyelashes left. And it's
looks like Fire Marshal Bill.
Oh no!
Yeah, I tuned into the showcase, and the first 5 minutes of it, we're driving in a car, just listening to conversation. I was like, oh my God, they better do better than this. And then the gameplay turns into Hitman. So you're, walking slowly, blending in, using the environment to accomplish the mission objectives, which everybody already knows how that's going to play out. Then we mentioned the car chase. The thing that I wasn't sure about the car chase is, like you mentioned, the car that you're driving cannot keep up with the other car. And they're like, well, you better find some shortcuts and find a way to catch up. And I'm thinking, if this chase is not on rails, I have no idea how you would know where you're going.
That was my other thought too.
Yeah. How do you know to cut that specific corner? How do you know when the car goes right and you go left?
Right. It was like when you were going into that tunnel too, you're like, okay.
I guess this is right. So I don't know how that's going to play out. Maybe it is on rails.
I did notice the fact that at certain points, the environments were directing you which way to go. Showing you off the beaten path, like, oh, sheep, there's an entrance. Oh, let me go ahead and get off into the field and whatnot. Or you got some construction truck that suddenly comes in your way. And it's not a quick time event almost, but it's kind of like that, where you just have to make a quick decision to veer left. It's not like all of a sudden this button comes up and you're like, oh, which button is this? I got to look down. Then you're dead. So at least it wasn't like that.
Yeah, but it was still pretty fast. Like, even though I'm not playing, I'm just watching. And the guy is like magically somehow making all the turns just right. And I'm still thinking that if it's not on rails, it was played by somebody who knew what they were supposed to be doing and the way the demo was supposed to go. Because otherwise, I'm running into that construction truck first. And I got to back up, do a 3-point turn, and then go the correct way. Because like at that speed you're going, it's right up on you.
Considering the airbags have been popped into your face. And, but we know that already because they dropped, like you said, the car 3 times. And
yeah, that one apparently has no airbags whatsoever.
Oh, man.
But yeah, and then it seems to turn into Uncharted, where you've got those third-person style shootouts in a base of bad guys. And then it moved into the airplane, where I was thinking, like, I couldn't make up my mind whether he voluntarily jumped out of the plane and just thought, oh, I'll figure it out, or whether he actually fell. But I'm like, that's ballsy. Like, I'm just going to jump out of the plane. There's something on the way down, I guess. I don't know.
And it said, find a parachute without any instructions on that. I was like,
you're like checking your pockets. You're James Bond. Maybe your suit has a parachute in it. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was a good demonstration of the different types of gameplay that are going to be in the game. You got to feel for the slower moments as well as the faster moments. You got to feel for the character and what it's going to be like to play as this version of James Bond. But it does look like it's, like we've said a couple times, it looks like reskinned Hitman for the most part, which is more of IO Interactive's bread and butter. That could be a good thing because they're really good at making those games. They've done it for a long time. And it is interesting that you think how well the James Bond formula fits into the Hitman formula, right, even though apparently Hitman was supposedly inspired by Chinese action movies. Gotcha. It's interesting how well it fits and how natural it seems. But I imagine it will be kind of along the lines of the Indiana Jones game. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're just trying to make a good game.
The only thing that concerns me about games like that, where there's just so much variety of gameplay, if you're not a fan of each one of those varieties, what you find yourself is it's like a slog to have to go through it, right? So one of the examples I'll give is I remember back in the day, like Super Contra, right, where it was different angles and stuff, and all you would all when the board would switch over to a different play style, you're just like, oh no, not one of these again. So a lot of games have different styles of play, within their genre, and they do it very well. I would just have to see how the controls are on this one to see if that's the case, but you at least have to have some interest in all of these in order for it to be fun. So like, for example, with you were talking about, it's, it's boring. It could be, driving up to the thing. Do I really care about the dialogue? If you're not into that kind of stuff, you're not going to be interested. You're not going to make it in the game to see what else is there. So.
Well, at least it's only a small part of the game as opposed to the entire game. When you reflect on something like Splinter Cell, where the entire thing was basically, you have to do stealth. It's 100% stealth, pretty much nothing else.
Yep.
Most people saw that, they checked out. So in this regards, it's just a small part of the game. If you can slag past that, then it opens up and the world is your oyster.
But yeah, I'm interested in this one. It's coming out in March, so plenty of time to get hyped about it. I actually debated doing the pre-order. I don't usually pre-order, especially digital games, but there was that like 24-hour special. But I thought better of it, so I've made that the right choice, I think, because I don't care about skins and I don't care about that crap. But it just seemed enticing for just a brief second. It's like when your team wins a championship and it flashes across the screen. It's like, your team just won the championship. Buy the hat. Never buy the hat. Wait for the hat to be cheaper.
Do you know what that's like?
Yeah, you've never had an opportunity to buy the hat, have you?
I was a New Jersey Devils fan for a very long time. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Just honest question.
Sorry. We only know of one team that you supposedly root for. We're not privy to the other ones, so.
We'll have to get to know Ryan better in an uncut one of these weeks.
Yeah.
No.
He's put up the walls as we're speaking.
All right, next up, 22 years after it began, the Call of Duty video game series is finally getting a Hollywood movie, thanks to a deal between Activision and Paramount. Both companies issued a joint statement in which they said the partnership aims to bring the iconic Call of Duty universe to life on the big screen, delivering an unforgettable cinematic event for fans worldwide. Unfortunately, we know nothing about the movie except that it's a live-action feature film. There's no release window, directors attached, or cast. Call of Duty fans have for years wondered why the game hasn't had an official adaptation, considering Hollywood's love of war movies. Call of Duty itself is one of the biggest video game franchises of all time, with over 500 million copies sold globally. A movie would benefit from launching into an established audience and instant brand recognition. Additionally, Paramount has form when it comes to successfully adapting video games. It's usually popular Sonic movies have proven critical and commercial hits. But it's worth noting Paramount also made the Halo TV series, which was awesome, which was canceled after 2 seasons. We're approaching this film with the same disciplined, uncompromising commitment to excellence that guided our work on Top Gun Maverick, ensuring to meet the exceptionally high standards this franchise and its fans deserve, said David Ellison, chairman and CEO of Paramount. I can promise that we are resolute in our mission to deliver a cinematic experience that honors the legacy of this one-in-a-million brand, thrilling longtime fans of Call of Duty while captivating a whole new generation. Donnie, I didn't hear you squee.
I mean,
it was so high-pitched it could not be heard by the human ear.
Oh, it's the brown note. I'm indifferent about a Call of Duty movie. The cinematics that we've gotten from these games over the years, the story of betrayal and whatnot is great. Do you do the same thing in live action, though? Because we've already seen it kind of sort of the same thing in a video game. So do I really need to see the same story over and over again in live action? I don't know. It just depends. It's a war movie, man. It just depends on how they do it. I can go see it, sure, but I'm not going to be like, oh my God, it's a Call of Duty movie. Where's my knife, fish, and popcorn bucket?
But there's a protagonist that goes through every game, is there? Like, you're not getting like a Nathan Drake every time you go into the single player campaign of a Call of Duty game.
Yes, kind of. There's Soap McTavish. There's Captain
Soap
Price. Yeah.
McTavish.
Mm-hmm.
Did they throw that into an AI generator? It was like, what's the shittiest name we can come
I mean,
up
this was
with?
back in the early 2000s, or mid 2000s.
McTavish.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, those two guys, Ghost, Soap McTavish, and Captain Price. Those 3 guys are in the first couple of Call of Duties. One of them ends up dead. I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah.
So there is a backstory. So there's names that we can drop here. It's not just like generic sniper number 3.
I could be.
The other thought was like, what if they made it Warzone, right? And it became like a what's that movie?
Hunger Games?
Hunger Games. Yeah. Like an adult's Hunger. I would watch the shit out of that. Are you kidding me?
No, they better not do something like that they better not make it a Warzone movie. I love the betrayal. I love the storylines that come from those games. I don't see a battle royale movie really working or happening with Call of Duty.
It is an interesting thought. And a lot of ways you could say, well, yeah, it seems like Call of Duty has been such a big IP for so long, 2 decades or so, probably more than that. I don't know. Why hasn't it had a movie adaptation all this time? I guess you could say it hasn't needed one. But the question does present itself is how are they going to do this? Because the timeline of Call of Duty goes as far back as World War II, farther back than that, maybe?
World
War One,
Yeah.
all the way up to the future. So which are they going to pick to adapt if they do? Or are they going to pull in Until Dawn and just slap the IP name on it, but the story is different characters and has nothing to do with any of the games?
That could very well be done as well. And just like you said, it covers World War I, World War II. But I'm not going to sit here and say that Call of Duty wasn't that big with those particular settings, because it was. I think Call of Duty and Medal of Honor were their 2 go-to shooter games for the World War I, World War II genre. Right. And then Modern Warfare changed the game. It brought everything into a much more modern setting, giving us updated weapons and technology and everything like that. And I think I'm a betting man, and I'd be willing to bet that they take from the Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, all of that stuff, those characters and that kind of espionage and betrayal storyline, and throw that into the movie.
Well, yeah, they're going to want to try to push whatever is the next game that's going to be coming up concurrent with the movie. So whatever timeline that's in, they're going to want to try to get people interested in that. They also are probably aware of the World War II fatigue, so they're probably going to stay away from that. So I agree, it probably will go towards more of a modern bent. But Call of Duty has had some really amazing storytelling in their campaigns. Now, of course, I haven't played them, but I have sat through Mr. Blue playing many a Call of Duty game. And there was definitely a golden era of those single player campaigns with amazing storytelling. And they could pull from any one of those and make a great movie.
Frank says, just give us Call of Duty Zombies. No, we're not going to do a zombie movie.
I would go watch a zombie movie
of course you would.
War zombie movie.
Well, the next Call of Duty is going to be Call of Duty Revolutionary War. So you're going to sit there and...
Yep.
Boom! Wait a second.
I'll be the flute player.
It's going to be a hit.
All right, next up, it's official. Silksong will be priced at $20, flying in the face of the current AAA campaign to have us all believe that they can't possibly price their games a penny lower than $80. However, this low price is also making some indie developers believe that the game is so cheap that it will hurt the pricing options of other indie games. As a dev making a smaller Metroidvania than Silksong, which I originally thought would be fairly priced at $20 USD, what should I price it now? Tweeted Basti Art Games after news of the $20 price point dropped. It'll be 10 to 15 hour game, but it was made by one person with limited dev time and funds. I can't afford to give it away for free. At Thomas J. Pereira said, or echoed the statement, seeing that this makes me doubt the pricing strategy for my game. It's not the same genre as Silksong, but I'm scared people will start comparing my game with Silksong. The average price of the top 50 best-selling Metroidvanias on Steam is $17, according to SteamDB. This means Silksong's $20 price tag is more expensive, not less, than its competitors. Everyone who creates a product, including the game, has to worry about competition. Game industry is more likely to be hurt by the fear of Silksong's impact than the game's actual release. So I guess I just hadn't really thought of it from that point of view, because instantly it was like $20. Sweet.
Right. $20 is $20.
Yeah, it was pretty bonkers because, for context, the first Hollow Knight released for $15 had 4 completely free DLC that you could get. And that game has always been criminally underpriced, but very player friendly. And I think that's a huge reason why had as much success as it did is because it's at a price point that pretty much everybody can play it. So when Silksong was coming out, I wondered for a long time what the price point was going to be, because I thought Silksong is supposed to be a fair amount bigger than Hollow Knight. So not to mention, the different economic climate, the development time, you could easily justify $50 for this game, but people would probably crucify them for such a high price point. They went with $20, just a little bit over the first game's price. And I did not have it on my bingo card to see people complaining that it was too low. That's ridiculous. You think about the amount of good that Hollow Knight has done for the indie scene, and then you're going to complain that the game is too accessible. I mean, $20 is going to be underpriced for Silksong. It totally is. But you have to justify the cost of your own game, just like Team Cherry did. And if people don't think it's worth $20, they're not going to pay it, but that's not Silksong's fault.
It's interesting, right? That at least from a price point, I think it's probably $20 because from a margin standpoint, they know they're going to sell millions of copies of this game. So they can price it at that level, knowing full well that they will achieve profit. If you're an indie developer, small one, a one-man team, you're not expected to have that kind of margin, so you have to price it accordingly. But it strangely enough feels like almost like the price dumping issues that you see with like Temu and stuff, where people complain. I mean, I don't support Temu because they like steal intellectual property and all that stuff, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But if somebody's selling hot pants for $4, it's sometimes just hard to say no to it, right?
I love me some hot pants.
Ryan has a whole closet full of them.
Right?
But it's like the Arizona iced tea thing too, right? They're going to stick at $1 because they know they're going to sell a crap ton of Arizona iced teas. If you're like a bespoke tea manufacturer, you focus on how quality your game or your tea is versus Arizona, and that's how you do better.
Right.
The only fallacy here is that now Arizona is also high quality. So,
and the owner of Arizona Iced Tea he's been asked, like, why don't you increase your prices to $3 or $4? It's like, we own everything, and we make a quality product, and we want people to be able to afford it. So we're not trying to get super ultra mega rich off of it. We want to give people something good, and I feel like that's exactly what Team Cherry is doing. They made a ton of money from Hollow Knight, and my props to Team Cherry for giving something back to the community and not riding on the coattails of everybody else, all these other developers and game companies that say, oh, we're going to $80 games. And well, now indie games are now $70 games. No, you, $20. Here you go. You got a crisp Andrew Jackson out there. Give it to us and you can have our game. That's going to probably, how many hours is Hollow Knight? How many hours of enjoyment does Hollow Knight bring you?
My first playthrough was 50 hours.
50 hours. The platinum trophy hunter like Blue is, the masochist who loves the pantheons and all that stuff and just wants to see if they can beat their times and get better. $20? That's a steal in today's economy.
And especially, you can buy the Switch version and get a free upgrade for Switch 2, which is what I'm going to do, because then I'll have it twice.
And the Mad Milkman makes a great argument right here. It says, price your game where you think you should, then convince me that it's worth that much. So if this developer who's talking about he's scared now because he was going to price his game probably at about $20, that Silksong is now pricing theirs. We understand it. I can understand your thought process on that. But if it's a good game, people are going to pay $20 for it.
I think the fallacy here, too, is that we often associate value with high price games, right? It's like, is that worth $80? But I don't look at a $20 or a $24 game and say to myself, it needs to be at the same quality as Silksong or something like that. If it's a good game, it's getting good reviews, and people are saying you should check it out. If it's reasonable, say it's $20 and it's 10 hours or 15 hours worth of entertainment. If it's good, that to me is worth it. I think we have a tendency to less associate lower price games with, is it worth it, than we do when it's the $80 price point.
Tegan85 says, this is like the dude in the HOA who complains about the price someone else lists their house at. But yeah, I mean, you make a good point in that length is not really a good indicator of what the price should be, because you've got AAA games that are 20 hours to play a campaign through, like an Uncharted or something like that. But then you've got 200-hour JRPGs, and both of those games are at the same price. So the length of your game really shouldn't matter. It's just, I think, like we've said a few times, what can you convince your audience that it's worth them to pay? And
you heard it here first. Blue says length doesn't matter.
See, Tikan says everybody knows that girth is what matters here. The girth of your game is what matters.
All right, last up, one of the most bizarre but charming cultural crossovers has officially come to an end. The Louvre has finally laid its Nintendo 3DS audio guides to rest. The collaboration between the Louvre and Nintendo first dropped in 2012, where you could rent a quote-unquote rent a 3DS at the Louvre for a mere €6 to use as an audio guide. Nintendo was so excited by the project that on November 27, 2013, they released a 12.5-minute Nintendo Direct entirely dedicated to its Louvre map app, a purchasable version of the software that allowed people to experience the Louvre from the comfort of their own home. Miyamoto and then President Satoru Iwata wandered the halls of the Louvre with only a 3DS in hand, guiding them through the museum, all while filling the video with the kind of magic that only a dad proudly showing off something that he made can provide. The software itself contained high-quality photos and 3D models of much of the museum's iconic artwork. Over 600 images, 30 hours of audio commentary, and more than 400 3D reconstructions of museum rooms are part of the software. It was and still is an extremely unique collaboration, and we're a little bit sad to see it go. But it's been around for 13 years, so it makes sense. Maybe Nintendo could get a Switch or Switch 2 audio guide running for the museum.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
People don't like old things. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You guys?
Yeah, that was the joke.
No, I'm saying I'm not included, though.
You're not. The white on your face would say otherwise, sir.
So I went to the Louvre in like 2003, 2004. And so they did not have the 3DS audio guides, but I would have gotten one in a heartbeat because my sister wanted to go and look at the art because she's an artist and she was very fascinated by everything. And I was bored out of my mind, but everything was in French and we don't speak French. So having this and being able to select a language and get like backstory and insight on all of the art that you were looking at, I would have just had my face buried in the 3DS the whole time and not like actually looked at anything, but it would have been a much more enjoyable experience.
I think if I was going with you and you didn't speak any French, what I would tell you is that in order for you to say, I like this or it's beautiful, you would say, merde.
Not magnifique?
Merde means shit. So all of these French people around you.
The wonderful part about that is I don't believe a single thing you say. Liar Game Brews. So.
Well, merde does mean shit, so. Puta de merde! So back in 2004, it was what, a Game Boy Color?
No, you had to cart around like a giant old computer.
Handy. All right.
Yeah. And it popped out like the cars with the holes on it. Yeah. Dot matrix ones so that you could to tell you what was going on.
Everyone gets a dot matrix printer. They'll lug around the Louvre.
You're trying to get around other people and crashing into each other like at Costco. It's great.
Yeah.
So it's funny, too, that this article came up. So like over the weekend, I ended up picking up a bunch of Laserdiscs, and one of them is an entire walkthrough of the Louvre with a book that comes with it. And there are like 8 Laserdiscs to this thing.
So first date idea, Ryan.
Okay.
Bring the date back to your house. Candlelight, light jazz playing and whatnot. It's like, hey, I got a surprise for you. And she sees the Laserdisc player, and it's this is the Louvre, an interactive walkthrough of the Louvre and the paintings. And you're like, all right, join me on the couch. Do you think she would run out of there screaming, or do you think she would be interested enough to stay and watch it?
She might be interested in Louvre and chill.
Louvre and chill.
They frown on that in the actual museum. But
Hey, babe, look what we're going to do.
Got a box of wine.
Gonna make love next to the Mona Lisa.
I can't tell if she's smiling or what. Or she's proud of it.
It's hot, though. It's like she's watching us.
Oh, my God, that's great.
Move and chill.
TM.
And chill. Louvre, and chill.
All right, so why don't we go ahead and take a look at our top 3 new releases.
Hell is Us. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC. If war is the closest we get to hell on Earth, it's because Earth harbors the worst of demons, humankind. In an isolated country ravaged by infighting, discover the secrets of your past and deal with the repercussions of a mysterious calamity in this third-person action-adventure game. Adventure of Samsara. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. A hero resurrected. A new adventure. With stunning 2D pixel art, Adventure of Samsara is a mysterious 2D Metroidvania action-adventure that captures the spirit of the original Atari 2600 title, Adventure, and takes it in an entirely new and unique direction. Adventure of Samsara combines classic gameplay, a deeply connected world, and a heady, twisting narrative of death, rebirth, and memory. Become the solar champion and restore balance to the multiverse. It's heady. Hollow Knight Silksong. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. As the lethal hunter Hornet, adventure through a kingdom ruled by silk and song. Captured and taken to this unfamiliar world, prepare to battle mighty foes and solve ancient mysteries as you ascend on a deadly pilgrimage to the kingdom's peak. Now, based on these 3 wonderful descriptions, and knowing that we couldn't possibly know what you're picking this week, Blue, which one of these games are you going to choose?
Silksong, please.
That's it. That's the take.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else is even remotely interesting. What, I mean, Hell is Us. You don't want to talk about Hell is Us or anything like that and what you don't like about it?
Hell is Us looks like any other week it would probably be fun. A third-person action game is getting really good early reviews, and I think probably any other week that would be killer. Adventure of Samsara was what I was alluding to. Is like if you count this as a sequel to Adventure, then that's 40 years.
Oh yeah, geez, you're right. Holy crap.
Yeah, so that would be the winner if we're counting that.
Okay.
Adventure of Samsara, pixel art Metroidvania. Also, any other week would probably be my pick, even if, why is the sprite so tiny?
Yeah, well,
how can you do precision platforming with a tiny ass little sprite? It makes you feel like every jump has to be pixel perfect. So that would be my only hesitation there. But yeah, sorry, maybe those 2 other games should have rescheduled because it's Silksong.
You definitely couldn't play this on a 13-inch CRT. Mm-mm. That's all I'm saying. It has to be on a big screen. Okay, Silksong it is. Ryan? What are you picking?
Blue, do you hate me?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. 2 Metroidvanias and an action third person.
I thought you knew that.
Yeah, this is going to be 0 for me. Only because I don't like Metroidvanias. I don't like third-person action adventure games, and I like to see Blue get annoyed that I have a moratorium on everything Team Cherry. So that is a huge 0 for me this week. I'll stick with what I'm already playing, which is mobile tower defense game.
Well, I mean, you could also play NBA 2K26. Star Wars Outlaws is getting a port to Switch too. You can do that. Chronos: The New Dawn actually is also getting really good reviews.
I could also try to lick my own butt, but I'm not going to do that either.
So there's options for you, Mr. Attitude.
I could never.
How'd you wreck your back?
Exactly.
What about you, Donnie?
Hell is Us looks like run of the mill. So I'm a little hesitant to say that I would pick it up automatically. It looks fine. I just need to know more about it. Samsara, the Adventure of Samsara, like I'm looking at the trailer of this game and I am pleasantly surprised by the graphics and how it's like, it's a Metroidvania platformer. I think it looks pretty amazing.
Tiny sprite.
Yeah, it's very, very tiny. Like
Thank you.
Be playing it like
so you're gonna have to get the bifocals just to play this game. Like what up, John says, the sprite needs to be more girthy.
Yeah, it needs to be thicker. Adventure of Samsara, I think I'm loving how it looks, but I mean, come on, if we're being realistic, it's going to be Silksong this week. Silksong. I can't say that 3 times fast. Is it released physically?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So I probably won't get it immediately. I want to wait for a physical release. And once it's on the Switch physically, I probably will pick it up.
But see, you get it digitally, then you get the physical version and you can keep it sealed.
Oh, damn you. Damn you.
It's $20. Be a big spender.
Right. At $20, I think it's a no-brainer. So yeah, damn it. I'll probably pick it up tomorrow on my Switch. And then whenever it comes out physically, I'll probably pick it up there. But yeah, Silksong is the game of the week that I'm picking up.
Need to set my profile to private so you can't see if I pick it up or not.
I actually am looking forward to everybody complaining, like everybody who didn't really play Hollow Knight and gets caught up in the hype of Silksong buys it and goes, why is it so hard?
Exactly. Can we get an easy mode?
You're right. Looking forward to those people. All right, before we move on, let's take a quick break to talk about our sponsor. This segment is proudly sponsored by the Retro Game Club podcast. It's a fantastic, family-friendly retro gaming podcast. In each episode, Rob and a guest pick 2 games to play and discuss, as well as news, interviews, and other topics. This week, they want to know, if storage space and money were of no issue, what arcade cabinets would you have? Visit them at retrogameclub.net or follow the link in the show notes.
All of them. All of them. Every single one of them. All of them.
Every single one.
Okay. Not every single one, but I mean, I'm talking about the original Nintendo cabinets. Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Versus, the Castlevania, Excitebike. Actually, I'm not sure if they had an Excitebike dedicated one. Duck Hunt, the Play Choice 10s, Popeye, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 3, Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter 2, all of the Street Fighters, like Marvel vs. Capcom, the fighters and all that. Yeah, all of them. Yes.
All right, I'm going to up the ante here. Pick one.
You. No.
Later.
No. What?
I said you. I said later. No, I cannot do that. He refuses.
Yeah, absolutely refuse.
Fair enough. If I had to pick one, it's the feeling at the moment, because this will change depending on my mood, right? But I would really, really like a original Punch-Out arcade. I want one of those so bad.
Somebody was selling one in my area a couple of months ago for like $2,000.
I would absolutely pay $2,000 for one.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. It's 100% worth it.
Yep.
Simon Astor says Polybius. Yes.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And I would not be opposed to an X-Men arcade cabinet, the big, huge chonker, the thick boy. But the problem with X-Men is that it's like a continuous loop. It doesn't end.
No, there's an ending to it. You can beat Magneto. I think what it does, though, is it just restarts after you beat Magneto at the end.
So Donnie is initially saying, I want Donkey Kong, but then I don't want X-Men because it doesn't end.
No, if I had to choose just one, I want to feel accomplished and not just something that repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats.
To be fair, Donkey Kong does have an end. There's a kill screen, level 26.
Yes.
So for me, I'm going full-on light gun games. Those are my jam when it comes to arcades. So it's Time Crisis, Area 51, Virtua Cop, House of the Dead, Carn Evil.
Carn Evil, so good.
I don't know, so many more of the Jurassic Park, Lycan games. Love those.
Loads of fun. And, obviously you're getting to play with another person, and just the experience and the camaraderie you get, and yelling at them like, oh, you got to reload your freaking gun. What are you doing?
And that would be the best part, is that I could actually make sure they were maintained to the point where they work and the sights aren't like 6 inches to the left.
That is one thing that drives me wild, especially with the mechanic reload ones, is that after a while, there's so many people are just like going like that, right?
Like what?
You can recap that if you want to.
They're trying to reload an old World War I gun.
I was thinking the shotgun from Carnival, but whatever. Feel free to clip that. Yeah.
Right. In order for us to see where we're at, we have to take a look back at where we've been. With the release of Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think we take a little trip down memory lane and take a look back at what Donkey Kong used to be. So the Donkey Kong game series began with the classic 1981 arcade game, then evolved into the popular 1994 Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo, shifting to 3D with Donkey Kong 64 in 1999, and later explored rhythm games like Donkey Konga and racing games such as Diddy Kong Racing. More recent installments, including Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, while Donkey Kong Bonanza marks a new era for the franchise on the Switch 2. Now, the OG Donkey Kong in 1991, it made its first appearance in his very own video game. This platformer was designed by Shigeru Miyamoto and Gunpei Yokoi. In this game, you play as Jumpman, aka Mario, who is trying to rescue your Lady Pauline from the evil clutches of Donkey Kong. Yes, it's his game, and he's the enemy. What's funny is that this isn't the last lady that Jumpman, aka Mario, attempts to rescue from the clutches of some evil creature. Did you know that Donkey Kong was actually created to salvage unsold arcade cabinets following the failure of Nintendo's Radar Scope? Did you know that this is the first video game to feature jumping? Donkey Kong went on to become the highest grossing game of 1981 and 82. It was ported to the Game & Watch, where it sold 8 million units, and Nintendo also licensed it to Coleco, where it was not only ported to their system, the ColecoVision, but also as a miniature tabletop version of the arcade game. I actually have it sitting up there right next to Pac-Man. Now, 2 more arcade games, Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 3, kept players enthralled and challenged, as well as releases on the Nintendo Entertainment System and Game Boy. We were treated to Donkey Kong as an animated character in Saturday's Supercade, as well as his own cereal to keep us fueled for long arcade sessions. But after a while, things started to slow down for old Donkey Kong. He just wasn't as popular anymore. The furry beast fell on hard times. And as the decade turned and new systems were released, it looked like Donkey Kong just might have kidnapped Pauline for the last time and thrown his last barrel. Now, did you guys remember the cereal that Donkey Kong had, or the cartoon?
I do. I don't know that I ever ate it, though. I know that I always asked for it and was pretty much always told no. But yeah.
I don't think I was alive when it was available. I got to be honest.
I don't think you were either. Well, no, you were born in 85, so there was still, I don't think your parents were feeding you Captain Crunch-esque cereal at that age. So.
Crush it up into a bottle. And
right. A little puree it with some milk. There you go. So in the early 90s, Nintendo had sought a game to compete with Sega's Aladdin. They commissioned Rare, a British studio founded by Tim and Chris Stamper, with the task. Rare assembled 12 developers to work on Donkey Kong Country over 18 months. Donkey Kong Country was inspired by the Super Mario series and was one of the first home console games to feature pre-rendered graphics, achieved through a compression technique that converted 3D models into SNES sprites with little loss of detail. It was the first Donkey Kong game neither produced nor directed by the franchise's creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, though he contributed design ideas. Now, Tim Stamper, inspired by Mortal Kombat's use of digitized footage in place of hand-drawn art, suggested developing a platform game that used pre-rendered graphics. Nintendo granted the Stampers permission to use the Donkey Kong intellectual property. The franchise had largely been dormant since the unsuccessful Donkey Kong 3, so Nintendo figured that licensing it posed minimal risk. Some sources indicate that the Stampers obtained the license after Nintendo offered them their catalog of characters, and they chose Donkey Kong. Conversely, the lead designer Greg Mayles and his brother Steve recalled that it was Nintendo that requested a Donkey Kong game. Donkey Kong's creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, said that Rare approached Nintendo and offered to handle Donkey Kong since other developers were preoccupied with franchises such as Mario and The Legend of Zelda. Now, Howard Lincoln unveiled Donkey Kong Country at the Consumer Electronics Show in Chicago, which took place from June 23rd to 25th, 1994. The unveiling was the finale of Nintendo's conference and did not reveal that Donkey Kong Country was an SNES game until the end of the presentation, fooling the audience into believing that it was for the upcoming Nintendo 64. Greg Mayles recalled the audience was stunned in silence before bursting into applause. I don't know if they showed anything from the Nintendo 64 in 1994. And if you saw Donkey Kong Country and they told you it was for the Super Nintendo, do you think your jaw would have hit the floor like theirs? Because I feel like the Super Nintendo was Star Fox after that, or was that before?
Like 94, yeah.
So I feel like we know, or we would have known, that the Super Nintendo was as powerful and it could have done something like that.
I don't look at Star Fox and think to myself like, wow, that's great graphics. It's just like,
yeah, me neither.
It's polygonal shit.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, we can say, yeah, of course the Super Nintendo was capable of that, but nobody had used it in that way before. Sure. It looked completely different. So I suppose you can be forgiven for, like you said, that early in 94, when you probably really hadn't seen anything of substance done on the N64 to think, well, this must be the new system because look at it.
Right.
Yeah, I think at the time it was even called the Ultra 64. It wasn't even just the N64.
Yeah. But also of note, everyone listening, if you have not heard our interview with Rare's Kev Bayless, go check it out. It's episode 21.
Yeah.
While you were talking there, too, I picked up one of my fun finds that I've had.
Ooh, Donkey Kong. Yes.
Yeah. He doesn't have any nipples, though.
He doesn't have any nipples. They're really furry.
Hey, so are mine.
Yeah, and this one says it's from 1982. So
that's awesome.
This is older than I am.
So Donkey Kong Country became divisive in the years following its release. Eurogamer wrote that it became popular to dislike it in the early 2000s, and it was often described as one of the most overrated video games. For example, Vice wrote that it did not deserve to be considered a classic, and alongside GameSpy, called its gameplay unremarkable and lacking depth. According to IGN, critics accused Donkey Kong Country of sacrificing gameplay for the sake of a short-run attention grab and quick impulse sales, which US Gamer attributed to the flim-flammery of its visuals and the relative mundanity of its actual game design. US Gamer wrote the game was often criticized as an example of style over substance, with gameplay that was arguably inferior to SNES launch games such as Super Mario World and Super Castlevania IV. GameSpy complained that Donkey Kong Country overshadowed games such as Yoshi's Island, which it considered superior.
That crying noise?
Yeah. To plug another podcast episode, I went on Retro Blast podcast and we talked about Donkey Kong Country, and we talked about this at length. So go on over to Retro Blast podcast, look up the Donkey Kong Country episode. But yeah, we spent quite a long time talking about why it became popular years later to hate on Donkey Kong Country and all the reasons we disagreed.
I think Donkey Kong Country has a fantastic gameplay. It's really tight platforming.
Right.
And I love the use of barrels and the hidden sections and stuff. I mean, it's...
Right.
I never thought for once, oh, well, this is shit.
Mainly, in my opinion, it's just what tends to happen when games get a lot of hype and then like there has to be an equal and opposite reaction. And so we have to hate it because it was hyped, not because it deserves it, but because it was hyped.
And the game itself is challenging, especially the minecart level. Holy crap.
Which I recently taught Blue how to get past that very quickly for a game that she thought she had mastered.
Whoa.
I did not know there was a skip there.
Whoa.
He schooled me.
He schooled you on Donkey Kong Country?
Yep, he did. I will admit it. He can be the Donkey Kong Country daddy.
He's the DK. You're the daddy. He's the DK daddy.
Yep.
Stop throwing these titles out.
going on Discord right now.
Well, in the years following its release, rumors spread that Miyamoto disliked Donkey Kong Country and found it amateurish, and had created the hand-drawn art style of Yoshi's Island in retaliation for its pre-rendered visuals. Miyamoto spoke highly of Donkey Kong Country in a 2000 interview. He said that Rare breathed new life into Donkey Kong, had demonstrated excellent research into what made a Nintendo game work, and proved they could be trusted with the Donkey Kong franchise. However, the author Stephen L. Kent claimed Miyamoto said that Donkey Kong Country proves gamers will put up with mediocre gameplay if the art is good, in a 1995 Electronic Games interview. Kent said that Nintendo's marketing department had rejected Yoshi's Island as it lacked Donkey Kong Country's pre-rendered graphics, and that this is possibly what motivated Miyamoto's remark. Miyamoto denied this in 2010, noting that he was very involved in Donkey Kong Country and had corresponded with Stamper throughout development. In 2014, US Gamer described Kent's claim as seemingly apocryphal, and in 2019, the video game historian Frank Cifaldi found that the Electronic Games interview did not contain the alleged quote from Miyamoto. Could you imagine that your own company rejected the art style of your game? You are pretty much the heart and soul of Nintendo, and they say, no, this is not what we want. We want Donkey Kong Country. And Miyamoto just looks at them as like, do you know who you're talking to?
I'm the Nintendo daddy.
Yeah, right. He's the OG Nintendo daddy. Now, Donkey Kong Country received critical acclaim and was lauded as a paradigm shift that set new standards for video games. Reviewers praised the gameplay for its variety and depth and even earned many Game of the Year awards. Donkey Kong Country's visual appeal helped the SNES remain popular in a period of uncertainty for cartridge-based games. Consumers were unfamiliar with 3D graphics at the time, and according to an official Nintendo magazine, by bringing next-generation graphics to the SNES just 12 days before the PlayStation's Japanese launch, Donkey Kong Country persuaded consumers that an immediate upgrade was unnecessary. The Donkey Kong Country series reestablished Donkey Kong as one of Nintendo's most popular and profitable franchises. Donkey Kong Country heralded Donkey Kong's transition from villain to hero. Rare's redesign became his standard appearance, and its gameplay format was followed by sequels. The game inspired an animated series that ran for 40 episodes from 1997 to 2000, and Diddy Kong starred in a Nintendo 64 racing game spin-off, Diddy Kong Racing. Following Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, the Country series went on hiatus until Donkey Kong Country Returns, developer by Retro Studios, was released for the Wii on Donkey Kong Country's 16th anniversary in 2010. A sequel, Donkey Kong Country Topical Freeze, was released for the Wii U in 2014, and 11 years later, we now have Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I am understanding is a phenomenal game.
Love Donkey Kong, always have. It's one of those arcade games that's easily accessible to get into. You can understand how to play it relatively shortly. Mastering it, it's hard as shit. As soon as you get past like that first stage, then it's like the gauntlet is thrown down. It's funny how many people, though, I've talked to that says they've never beaten that first stage.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could never get past the barrels. Well, there's a lot more.
The pies, man.
The pie level, yes.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that level.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to episode 181 of Gamers Week, and a big thank you to the Retro Game Club podcast, Love Retro BTW, Pixel Pond Production Company, absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress, for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to check out their links in the show notes. And if you want to connect with Gamers Week, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at Gamers Week PC. Watch us right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamers Week Podcast, where we will record live every Wednesday at 8:30 Central Standard Time. Email us at gamersweekpodcast@gmail.com. Visit our merch store at gamers-week-podcast.creator-spring.com. Or do it the easy way and follow the link in the show notes. And last but not least, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/gamersweek. And finally, since you made it all the way to the end of the episode, please leave us a rating and review to let us know how we did. We really do value your feedback. And while you're there, consider subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice. Thank you all for stopping by tonight. do us all a favor and send some kudos to Blue for sacrificing herself and getting the title of Daddy of Daddies.
I'm going like a radio silence for the next 2 weeks because when Terry beats Silksong in 2 days, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see screenshots. I don't want to see anything on Blue Sky. So I'm gonna disappear for 2 weeks, and then I'll reemerge.
Is a beast at how much he's able to play games. That is uncanny.
I promise to use a spoiler tag on the images.
Terry always does. I'm just teasing, but yeah, I know that you'll have the game beat so quickly, and probably before I can even hardly download it.
Yeah. All right, guys, that does it for us. We will be back on Monday with a live playthrough. Not sure what we're going to play now. We'll be talking about that over the weekend. But Monday, definitely back here on Twitch for a gameplay. And then next Wednesday, we'll be back live with another episode. You guys have a great night and happy All Silksong's Eve.
Silksong's Eve.
What do we need to leave by the fireplace? Like, is it milk and cookies, or is it like a needle and thread?
A rancid egg.
A rancid egg and a grub.
I'm glad I don't celebrate this holiday.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah. Take care. Good night. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Drafted a pretty shitty fantasy football team.
Oh.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's I got a draft grade of D+, I think.
And you wouldn't say it's shit.
But here's the thing I don't get. So all of the different TikTok stuff that I've been seeing and people like, oh, start this guy, don't start this guy. If you drafted this person, you're screwed, or yada, yada, yada. Pretty much all of the players I have, none of them are if you've drafted this player, you're screwed. But it's not like my players are really being talked about either. It's not like, hey, this guy is going to, elevate you to the next level. Where most of it is take these guys in the final rounds of your draft and yada, 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 the obvious bullshit. So it's a doable roster.
Yeah. D+ doable.
D+.
That's what the D+ stands for.
D is for doable.
It's like, so how was your date last night? Oh, it's D+. D+ doable.
D+ doable. Welcome to Gamers Week Uncut.
Welcome to Gamers Week Uncut.
Welcome to Gamers Week Uncut, patrons with benefits. This is the unscripted, patron-only bonus cast with less editing and more dirty jokes. We don't know where the conversation will go, but we're sure it will be weird.
This fish just went right on my nipple, and I'm just like,
I Google Street Fighter 6. The first search result that comes up is people think they can see Ryu's in the Street Fighter 6 reveal.
Listen up here, kids. You're not going to want to get one of those VD-STDs things, right? Make you fall off. When you go, grab a pro. You'll be doing it for America.
That was perfect.
If you want to hear weekly episodes of our patron-only bonus cast, join us at patreon.com/gamersweek.